And welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. Technically, this is not a walkthrough. This is finally a verdict video because the game was actually short. So, the original plan for continuing this kind of walkthrough, or I guess this post walkthrough, I was going to play the multiplayer for Modern Warfare 1. However, I'm getting an error code with the multiplayer that I think it's something with like I don't know, something network server wise. Nothing's going on with their servers, but I didn't want to waste the time trying to fix that and show you the video of that because that's so riveting. So I figure I head straight to the verdict because I have actually played the multiplayer on the 360 version. So this is nothing I'm really missing out. Might as well get to the verdict and move on to other first person shooters because it's this random day and I'm feeling like a first person shooter. So it's gonna be the same score I gave it on the Xbox 360 version. It's still gonna be a strong 9 out of 10. Wanted to give it a 10 out of 10. Believe me, I did. This game has so many great qualities and so many fantastic moments throughout its campaign, and the multiplayer is just enhance the experience too. It's a complete package done right, extremely done right. The complaint, and it's a minor one, and I didn't think it was going to be a negative, but considering from the old one and from this one, yeah, I gotta give this negative shout out. The campaign is short, and it's not like bad short. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 is a little longer, but that one's short-ish too. I guess you could say Modern Warfare 3 is the longest of the Modern Warfare series before it got rebooted again for Modern Warfare. I don't know how long that game is. May will come on PlayStation Plus that I could give a try and say, hey, they did this better, or hey, the OG Modern Warfare was the OG still. But yeah, the game was really short. I mean, look at it. You do the prologue. You have literally three. You see the president get, yeah, you see the president get shot, which was one of the jaw-breaking moments. I will admit, the first time I saw that happen. Then Act One is actually longer than that, and then Act Two is pretty short, and then Act Three there's four, and then you get a cool Mile High Club, which is still fantastic, and I love going back to that every time. But yeah, when you really, it's a popcorn flick, but it's so short. You're done in a couple hours. It's not long. It's not short as like Portal, the first one, but it is short in terms of first person shooters in this day and age. It's nothing against it. It doesn't do the game any like it just doesn't do the game any disservice at all. I am imploring you and letting you know that I highly recommend buying this game. If you got a PlayStation Plus, there you go. I just think it was like too short for what it was. So many great set pieces, absolutely, like all Guild Up. But I think maybe it was too. It gets you at an all time high, and then after it's done, the adrenaline rush is over. It's over quick, like snap quick. Like I snapped pretty perfectly that first time, but yeah, that's the only negative I have. Let's get to the positive. The campaign is fantastic. This is how we already had like single player campaigns for first person shooters done well in the past. This one in 2007, it just refined it. I love Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. I still think it's the best campaign compared to even the new ones. Much better than the new ones, except for Infinity Warfare. That one, I highly enjoyed that one too. I can't wait to go back to that one. But why the campaign is so perfectly paced and it's so well done. Let me go into details. This will be one of my short verdict because there's not a whole lot you can talk about because I have played this game before. But anyway, back to the point. It starts off with like just easing you into it, and then after that, you get to the story. It's just a great like it feels like something that would occur in a real world, but done in a very interesting, action-packed way. All the locales you go to just makes sense. There's a lot of motivation for the heroes. You can get behind them, and you're rooting for them. We have a great villain. Even though he doesn't show up much, I think we had a great villain for what we have after the kind of lackluster villain. He's not a bad villain in Modern Warfare 2, but we'll get to back to that. Yeah, you just the story just has great like it just makes sense. All the stuff that they go to. Hold on a minute. But what I was trying to say, everything just feels like it has purpose for it. For all the set pieces, it just man, I wish I can. The videos show it the best. I recommend go play the campaign just once. It's just so many great story beats. Yeah, it's just so many great story beats from the beginning to the fantastic end. I never came when I went from this Call of Duty. This was technically my first Call of Duty back in like my Xbox days. This was my first Call of Duty in general. Going back to it, seeing how far it's progressed, the pacing of the campaign from going from point A to point B just makes total sense. Everything that happens in the campaign, like explosive set piece, action set piece, were not done horribly. This is when Call of Duty was at its apex when they did the campaign and took the time to do the single player campaign. They knew what they were doing in Modern Warfare 1. It's a solid campaign with great pace. I keep saying great pacing, with great direction, great story direction. I think I summed it up. Just watch your campaign, watch my videos, or play the single player campaign. You won't be disappointed. It's over fast, yes, but it has such a great impact from every set piece you can see. I was not disappointed the entire time. Even when I'm replaying it again on the PlayStation side, still not freaking disappointed. I'm excited every time to go back to it. Alright, another positive. Gameplay is just perfect. The gameplay is perfect for a first person shooter. It's snappy, it's fluid, your character is just responsive. Whenever you nail these headshots, it just feels like you actually nail the headshots. The weapons that you get with all your gameplay is just so precise, and the snap and click that you get from the headshots from the enemy or sniping, there's just so much great gameplay finesse to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. It's just so finesse, and I'm glad that it continued this from here to our current age. You just know it's a Call of Duty game because of how snappy it is. That kind of sums it up. I actually like this. If I prefer Gears of War. Yeah, that shows my age. I prefer Gears of War's gameplay. I still think first person shooter wise, well, technically it's a third person shooter, but in terms of first person shooter, Call of Duty is kind of it's my top first person shooter because of how snappy and how precise it is. It just feels like you have control in the best way. I didn't mean to cut off like that. I think that speaks for itself. So whenever I was just kind of going like America, and yeah, when I was doing that, it's because I had so much power. It makes you feel like a boss by the time you're just going through the campaign and even the multiplayer. I think the gameplay and the multiplayer can be combined together into this verdict. The multiplayer, it just has the single player gameplay in it, and it's just done in an insane, crazy level. It's fantastic to multiplayer. I wish I could show it if I wasn't having like that error code show up like Destiny. But it's also precise. So whenever you get killed by like just opposing team members or just by anybody, it just feels earned. And when you actually get a kill, it's it's so precise. It doesn't feel like anyone's given an unfair advantage. It's the campaign can be hard if you turn it up to probably normal and all that, but it just feels like you're in control the entire time and just so precise. You are effective. You are super effective. Did not mean to make that Pokemon reference, but I think that kind of exemplifies of what I'm trying to say. I'm not disappointed with the gameplay at all. I can come back to it. And if I think there's a co-op in this one too. I could play co-op on that. I actually played co-op on the 360 version, sorry, Xbox 360 version, and I was still not disappointed. It just has that, it's so snappy in the most satisfying, gratifying way. Not disappointed with the gameplay at all. Now, the graphics. Individually, I thought the graphics in the Xbox 360 version was fantastic. Not like top tier, but it was one of those like eye popping, like it looked good back in those days. It looks so much better. The visuals actually enhance the experience. I like the new visual upgrade. It makes the game look cleaner. Great facial models too, but it also adds a little bit more intimate touch with Modern Warfare. It just feels it's definitely a political thriller, straight up. But it feels like a very more intimate look. I like that it just feels more intimate with the new visual overhaul. It looks fantastic. Even though it's not even using like HDR, that's okay. It looks fantastic. All the character models who I thought looked not the best in the original one, they've been done very much justice in this one. Everyone looks so great, visually wise. Yeah, okay. I think that sums it up too. The story, I can love the characters because I like the characters from Modern Warfare 1. I felt like the later games, they're still great, but I felt like the OG characters were from Modern Warfare 1. But in Modern Warfare 2, we get some two great characters, so I'm excited to go into that one. Now, the last point of a positive for Modern Warfare 1 was the music. The music was good in Modern Warfare 2. I say good, but not like excellent. Modern Warfare 3's music was forgettable, but I love Modern Warfare 1. I would download the soundtrack because I like how bombastic, actiony that it fills with the soundtrack. It fits every mission that you partake in. The music's fantastic. I don't know who was the composer for it, but I think the music was very fantastic. From the main menu, to the end. I just think the music was extremely well done. It fits it so well. I always love listening to when we're about to like da 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 da. I liked how they were repeating that main theme in succession or different versions of it throughout the whole campaign. It just felt so triumphant, so legendary. Is there another thing that I liked? No, that's it. That sums it up. I know it's a short verdict video, but I played this game before, so I already knew what I already liked about it before, and this is just enhance it with a new visual flair and touch up in the best way. So even I say buy Modern Warfare 1, you will not be disappointed. I would say maybe buy Modern Warfare 2 because it was still great all these years in terms of the remaster. But Modern Warfare 3, I say rent. I gave it an 8 out of 10, but I was not like impressed. I like the ending, but that's a story for another time. I'll go more into depth about that in like Modern Warfare 2. If they do a Modern Warfare 3 remaster, I'd rather get it for PlayStation Plus as a free game or just on that. I don't think they should do it because it's not. I don't think it was received well, and it's not my favorite. It's my least favorite of the series. I felt like that's where they were kind of going downhill. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to the next first person shooter since we can't play multiplayer on this, sadly.